Hello and welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribe. First, the headlines. Aviation fuel price hike, 3 airlines grounded as operators raise alarm. Nigerians to enjoy improved power supply from July 1st, NERC. NNPC targets 2026 to achieve energy sufficiency. And now, the news in detail. 3 domestic airlines have shut down operations following sharp increase in the price of aviation fuel. The Vice Chairman of Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, Mr. Allen Onyema, raised the alarm yesterday at the ongoing maiden edition of Federal Airports of Nigeria FAN National Aviation Conference FNAC, with the team advancing the frontiers of possibilities for safe, secure and profitable air transport in Abuja. Onyema, who refused to name the airlines, said aviation fuel challenge was not limited to Nigeria alone, but emphasized that the case is made worse in Nigeria because of the sharp fall in the value of the naira against major currencies, especially the dollar. That is why we ran to the government, and the federal government has given us about 10,000 metric tons of fuel at the cost of 580 naira per litre in Lagos and about 607 naira per litre outside Lagos, Onyema said. Recall that the airline operators of Nigeria, Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and other relevant regulators had reached an agreement last month to end volatility in the price of the product. Mr. Sanusi Garba, Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, says Nigerians will witness improved power supply from July 1st following renewed efforts by industry stakeholders. Garba gave the assurance at an interactive session with newsmen after the second Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry NESI meeting on Wednesday in Lagos. He said NERC had facilitated a contractual agreement between the GENCO's Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN and 11 DISCOs that will guarantee the generation, transmission and distribution of an average 5,000 megawatts of electricity daily to customers effective from July 1st. According to him, the contract is binding on all the players across the sector's value chain and stipulates penalties for any party that defaults on the arrangement under the new regime. With assets in excess of $64 billion, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, said yesterday that it is focusing on 2026 to achieve energy sufficiency for the country. Group Managing Director, NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, made the disclosure when he delivered a keynote address at the Global Energy Summit, themed Setting the Global Transition Agenda, organized by Reuters in New York, United States. Represented at the event by the Group General Manager, National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS, Mr. Bala Wunti, Kyari stated that Nigeria was ready to rally investors for the development of the nation's gas sector. Although the country currently imports almost 100% of its fuels, the NNPC stated that its priority is to be zero dependent on imported energy, both primary and secondary, and come out as a net exporter of the products in the next 4 years. South African ambassador to the Philippines on Wednesday told President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. that her country is open to assist the Philippines should it want to source petroleum products from Africa as oil prices continue to surge due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While oil deposits in Africa are majorly in Nigeria, Libya, Angola, Namibia and Algeria, South Africa houses the 4 largest ports in the continent. number of Democratic lawmakers have signed a letter urging President Biden to take an extra guarded method to Saudi Arabia. The letter comes as Mr. Biden is planning to visit Saudi Arabia this summertime, a visit some Democrats have criticized. Consultant Adam B. Schiff, Democrat of California and the chairman of the Home Intelligence Committee, who led the drafting of the letter, mentioned on Sunday that Mr. Biden mustn't go to Saudi Arabia, citing Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's function in the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, a Washington Post journalist. The lawmakers listed 6 factors for the administration to deal with, namely world oil markets, the conflict in Yemen, the detention of human rights activists, the investigation of Mr. Khashoggi's killing, efforts to accumulate civil nuclear know-how, and Navy cooperation with China. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has again expressed concern about the rising federal government fiscal deficit, warning that it could hit 6.1% of the nation's gross domestic product (GDP) as oil production remains weak. This was contained in the latest staff article consultation report released in Washington on Wednesday after a discussion on recent economic and financial developments and the economic outlook for the country between the IMF staff team led by Jasmine Rahman and the Nigerian authorities at their meetings between June 6 to 10, 2022. The new fiscal deficit projection by the IMF is 2% over the 7.35 trillion naira of Nigeria's fiscal deficit in the amended 17.3 trillion naira 2022 budget, which represents 3.99% of the country's GDP. Valuechain had earlier reported that the latest data from the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, shows Nigeria lost its status as Africa's largest producer of oil due to production dropping by 195,000 barrels per day to 1.2 million barrels per day in May 2022. Nigeria's massive oil drop, owing to theft, vandalism, and others, came at a time when oil price was trading above $100 per barrel, and other major producers were reaping billions of dollars. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Aviation fuel price hike, 3 airlines grounded as operators raise alarm. Nigerians to enjoy improved power supply from July 1st. NEC, NNPC targets 2026 to achieve energy sufficiency. And that's the news. I am Naomi Oleribe. Good evening.